Coach, spring practice, it's going to wrap up this week with the traditional green and gold game. Just talk about how spring practice has been going the last couple of weeks for you guys.
We've been very pleased. We've made some changes this year. We've actually practiced at 6:30 a.m., 6:30 in the morning with our players, and I've been very, very pleased and proud of the way they've responded to that. We've come out and got a lot of work done. We've had 2 scrimmages thus far, and the players have worked hard. Unfortunately, we have a number of players missing, recovering from injury. Nick Riccadulli recovering from knee surgery, off-season knee surgery. We've got Ryan Moreno has been out recovering from shoulder surgery. Derek Brandon has missed all of spring, and then we lost Eric Paupau, starting safety in the first game. And then Gianni Olivas, another safety, is recovering from surgery. But the good thing is that all of these players that have missed spring are scheduled to be healed and recovered and back by sometime in the summer. So we'll have them when we start up again in August. But it's been a good practice. We're allowed 15 practices. So this being the final week, and we feel good about the progress that we've made.
When you go winless in the season, you get the recruiting, go on the recruiting trail, and then to be practicing now. How important coming off this season are these practices? The regular season's still months away, but how important are these practices?
Spring is a critical time. It's a critical time for player development. It's a critical time for players to be given an opportunity to show what they can do and compete for jobs. And we're not necessarily setting in stone a depth chart on either side of the ball, but jobs are being won or lost out there at spring, so it's a long process. We start the first week back in January with the winter conditioning, taking advantage of the weight room and Drew Peterson and his expertise and stuff, and our players went after that very aggressively. It's during recruiting time, and we're very, very pleased with the recruiting. Coming off the season that we had, obviously there was some concerns. It was different and difficult to go into a school and sell a kid, coming off the season that we had. But we still have an awful lot here to sell, and we were able to do that. And I think our previous success certainly helped. We put together what I think is maybe our best recruiting class, freshman recruiting class that we've had in the time that I've been here at Humboldt. So really excited about what we've added. We've got 3 running backs coming in that ran for a combined over 8,000 yards their senior season. Very talented players. Jaquan Gardner, Mark Parsons, and Richard Doctor coming in. We've got 3 receivers, 6'2", 6'3", and 6'5" in height that we feel very, very good about. Some good linemen on both sides of the ball. And so it's been a good spring. It really has, from recruiting to winter conditioning to what we're currently doing with spring practice. We clearly are making strides in the right direction.
I know not everybody's here for practices, but are there also limitations when you are conducting these practices?
There are. We're only allowed 15 to start with, only 10 of which can be full pads, and we'll have had, when it's all done, 2 scrimmages in addition to the spring game, and we're limited by going at 6:30. We have players with 8 a.m. classes, and so they're excused about 7:40 to get to those 8 a.m. classes, and then we're done. We've shortened our practice time up from what would normally be when we were in the afternoon, simply those 4 players that have 9 o'clock classes that everybody can make those. So it's a little bit of a chess match, moving things around like that. But we've been out there, 6:30. We've got the place to ourselves at that time. And again, I've been very, very pleased. Our players have come out there with energy. They've come out there excited. They understand what the frustration of last season. They experienced that as well, and I think we're hopefully moving forward with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder right now to get this thing back on track again. To go from where we were and the success we had to the difficulties of last season, the injuries that we dealt with and such. Not easy for anyone, but our players have responded well, and we're looking ahead, not back. I'll tell you that.
Again, it's still spring, but why will next season be different than last year?
Number one, we get Jerry Malawiya back. Jerry Malawiya is I think the heartbeat of our football team. And to have him back is huge at the safety. He missed all of last year, recovering from 2 different shoulder surgeries. But he's back this spring, running around like Jerry of old. And just his voice and presence on the field for us and in the locker room I think makes a world of difference for us. We'll get Nick Riccadulli back. He's running around and looks like he could, put the pads on and get right in there now, but he's still got another couple months before the doctors will give him the complete green light. But he is 2 months ahead of schedule on his rehab. And so getting, an offensive player like Nick, a defensive player like Jerry back certainly is huge. The other thing that I think is will prove to be a positive is so many young players who got game time and experience a year ago, maybe before they expected that. But now that experience that they gained from last year will certainly pay dividends this year. We're still going to be a very young football team, but we have some very talented young players that we're excited about. Alex Kappa is a 6'6" offensive tackle who redshirted last year, that quickly took a starting job here early this spring, and I think could be as good as we've had, and we've had some good ones certainly here. But he's got the athletic ability and certainly the drive to be a very good football player for us. Josh Hansen, another freshman a year ago that played, will be a sophomore. Lucas Govin. So we've got some nice young offensive linemen, and we've got some good defensive players. We brought in some nice transfers. Khalid Abdullah at outside linebacker and an Anthony Ezra at defensive tackle. Two JC transfers that both are going to help us. So I think we've improved our football team.
Talk a little more about the game on Saturday. I'm sure guys are happy to face a scrimmage competition.
Yeah.
Same point, a lot of jobs up for grabs. I'm sure they want to shine that last chance before you have time off before you get the fall season going.
Absolutely. It's still a very important evaluation opportunity for us as coaches and a performance opportunity for our players. But we also want to have fun with it, and that's really the intent. The green gold game, we will divide our team up. Our number one offense and defense will wear the green jerseys. Our number 2s and 3s will wear the white jerseys, and we'll treat it just like a game, although there will be a running clock with it and such. But we'll have the officials out there, and we want to certainly end spring on a very positive note, stay injury-free, let's hope, but also put on a nice show for the fans that are there, and we hope to be able to do that. We've got, in conjunction with this, a junior day, a recruiting opportunity. We'll have 40 to 50 prospects on campus with their parents to show off the Redwood Bowl and Humboldt State University. And we're also having a free youth clinic starting at 10 a.m. that morning for ages, for elementary and middle school age youngsters, boys and girls, that our players will be involved with. So we want to have a lot of fun with Saturday and really end spring on a very positive note.
Got two last questions. The schedule coming out. First, the road game, Texas A&M, Kingsville. Also, the conference this season, not playing everybody twice. So thoughts on your first opponent, and then also the conference schedule.
Well, I'm pleased with the schedule. Just 10 games as opposed to 11 a year ago, and I think the bye coming in late October will be beneficial with the travel we do. But we do open up against Texas A&M Kingsville down in Kingsville, Texas. Kingsville is historically one of the top Division II programs. They have won national championships in the past. Now, they were down a year ago, much like us. So you're going to have two teams that want to start off 2014 the right way. But obviously that'll be a difficult, challenging trip, not only with the time element of travel. We will bus to Oakland, fly Oakland to San Antonio, bus San Antonio. It looks like 2.5 hours down to Kingsville, which is right on the Gulf. And obviously you're talking the first week in September. I've already checked. The average temperature there is 96 degrees. So that'll be a challenge for us. And then, as you mentioned, in the GNAC conference, we will not, for the first time, play a complete round-robin schedule where you play everybody in a home-and-home situation. With South Dakota Mines entering the conference, we now have an odd number. So we will play 3 teams twice. And for Humboldt, that'll be Azusa Pacific, Dixie State, and Western Oregon. However, only the second of the 2 games will count towards the conference championship. So the first game will, in effect, be a non-conference game. And then we'll play the other teams in our conference just the one time. So it means a little less travel in that we don't make a trip to both a Simon Fraser and a Central Washington, for example. We just go to one of those this year for us at Simon Fraser. Central will come here. We have South Dakota Mines coming to the Redwood Bowl this year for homecoming. We will travel to South Dakota next year for that game. So I feel very good about the schedule and how it plays out.
Last question. I know how superstitious you are, but after the winless season, do the helmets get painted back to green?
This Saturday will be the last showing of the gold helmets, the curse of the gold helmets, as we've referred to it, Manny. So we will be going back to the green helmet, absolutely, and those gold helmets will be put away, hopefully never to be seen again.
There you go.
All right.
All right, Coach. What area on your team is going to be the one that you're going to most rely on, your biggest strength, and then what area is going to be the one you're going to need to improve most in order for your team to be a championship contender?
Boy, that's a good question. I think our biggest strength certainly is getting. I think our secondary could be a real strength. Again, we're going to have veteran players back there. When you add Jerry Malawiya back to that mix, he's a two-time all-conference player and just has been there and knows how to get it done. We also have Eric Paupau and Gianni Olivas, hope to be healthy with both of them, and both of them are experienced players. And at the corner position, we have Jamal Jones, we have Ronnie Hicks, and we have Marcus Graves, all three of whom have started for us. And then Alex Olivas, Gianni's younger brother. Alex has had a tremendous spring for us as a freshman, redshirted last year, and he'll certainly factor in. So the secondary could be a real strength there. Obviously, everybody wants to know about the quarterback position, and we have three going through drills right now in the spring: Casey Mintz, Mason Dossie, and Jerry Myers. Okay, but I've made it clear to them, and I've said it publicly, that our starting decision at quarterback won't be made until fall. We add Derek Stewart, a transfer from West LA. We add Robert Weber and Kyle Bloomer, two freshmen, both of whom I feel are very talented, so again, we will that competition will extend in there. But certainly our secondary is going to be a strength. I think ultimately running back with Nick back, if and healthy, becomes an immediate strength for us with that, and then adding these three young talented backs to that mix. So that certainly can be. And then I think a strength is going to be in how young we are. Truly, we've got young players on both sides of the ball that are ready to, I think, really make a name for themselves. I mentioned Alex Kappa, Dylan Huffman at defensive tackle, lining up alongside of Silas Sarvinsky. We've got Hunter Van Emmerich, a defensive end from Ferndale that now is done with his redshirt year, and it's time for him to be given that opportunity to show what he can do. Cameron Buell's just a sophomore, led our team in tackles last year as a redshirt freshman there. So, I do feel good. Mike Johnson, we moved from safety to outside linebacker, another freshman who played last year. That should just be better, his second year. And so, again, I think how young we are could definitely be a strength for us.
All right, Coach, how do you feel about your offensive line? I know a lot of young freshmen were pushed into action because of injuries, and are they progressing forward? Do you think the line?
They are, and again, we've been dealing with some injuries. We lost two last week in practice to minor injuries, but injuries that might keep them out through this week. But I mentioned Alex Kappa, an offensive tackle, has a tremendously bright future here, and really can work himself into being a mainstay on that offensive line. He has 4 years to play. He's just a redshirt freshman. We've got Josh Hansen, who has worked at both center and guard. And again, Josh started for us, I think, 7 or 8 games last year as a true freshman. So he'll be just a sophomore. Lucas Govan at center. He and Josh have kind of both played center and guard for us. Lucas is just a sophomore. Jonathan Rowe at right tackle. Mick Johnson, the lone senior of the group. So a young group certainly there, but really pleased with the work that Coach Walsh has done with that offensive line, and I think it's going to develop into a solid unit.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Majority of mid-season form.